video I would like to share with you my idea of cooking jackfruit. So this is young jackfruit, and these you can buy it fresh or you can buy it in cans. So I got these in cans, and these are available pretty much all over all the stores in US. You can find basically the Oriental stores. I got this one from North Korean store. You can find this one in Indian store too. And there are two varieties. One is the regular ones, which is the real jackfruit, but they're really huge, and I am never going to be able to finish that big of a jackfruit. In India we used to get tiny little ones, but in US I see only huge ones. So this one I just bought little cans, 2 little cans these are. Let me give you the picture of the can. So this is the can of jackfruit, and it comes many different companies. So I just picked up one from one of the companies, and this makes really yummy curry. And there are 2 varieties. One is the ripe one, and this one is green one. So the curry is made only from the green ones. Ripe one you can eat just like the way it is. So it is soaked in vinegar, so it's a little bit hard. So before I cook it with the spices, I boiled this about 20 to 30 minutes. So I boiled it about 30 minutes with enough water. I just boil it so it's not so hard, it's a little bit soft. So to begin with, we're gonna start heating up some oil. As you know, I'm not going to put too much oil, just 1 teaspoon. To that, I'm going to be adding half a teaspoon of cumin seed and a pinch of asafoetida. As I mentioned to all my videos, this is a very important ingredient for cooking anything. It's digests your food and eliminates any kind of gas problem. So I'm going to make it brown. So as it's getting brown, the asafoetida and the cumin in 1 teaspoon oil. Before adding anything, be sure that this is roasted. Now about the cooking, if you have all your ingredients ready, especially your onion, ginger, garlic pre-made, and you keep it in the freezer or refrigerator, that way when you cook, your cooking is very easy. So as this one is brown, I'm going to add to that about 2 large tablespoons of onion, ginger, garlic paste. As this one cooking, to that I'm going to add about 2 tomatoes. Now this one has some orange tomatoes and some red because it's from my garden, and some of them are orange, and I picked it up because it's a battle between me and the squirrels. The squirrels like to just knock it off and just take a bite and destroy it. So I try to pick them up while they are orange before they even turn red. So now I added the tomatoes, and to this I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon, half a teaspoon to a teaspoon salt, about half a teaspoon turmeric, I'm going to let the tomatoes cook. While the tomatoes are cooking, I will add the potatoes. So I'm adding 2 small potatoes cut. Now let this tomato and the potato cook together, and when this is little bit cooked, then I will add the other spices and my jackfruit. So I'm going to cover it up and let it cook a little bit. So I'm going to use about low heat 10 to 15. So now it is already 5 minutes past, and as you see, tomatoes has melted a little bit, and to this I'm going to add some spices. So I'm using this achar ghost masala, and I'm using about 1 tablespoon. And this will, if you use 1 tablespoon, that will make it pretty hot. And to this I'm going to add the jackfruit. Remember, this jackfruit, after I took it out from the can, I boiled it 30 minutes in a large pot with lots of water. Now I'm going to mix all this. And I'm going to let it cook about 20 minutes more until the potatoes are soft. So let me cook it 20 to 30 minutes until the potatoes are soft. Then at the very end, I will be adding 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro and garam masala before serving. As this one is cooking for 5 more minutes and I see it's pretty drying up, so I'm going to add to it about 1 cup of water. So you will find something different in my cooking videos. My cooking videos, I use very little spices and very little oil because we have to eat it for a very long time if we want to be here for a very long time. And if we eat that much oil, then we may not be here for so long time. So I try to use very little fats and oil. As you see, our food chart, which allows us only 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil a day. So I do not add too much oil in my cooking videos. Now I'm going to add the water and lower the heat and cook it for 20 minutes until all this completely cooked. Especially the potatoes, they need to be soft. So at this point you can add your cilantro leaves and the garam masala and cover it and cook it until they're soft. That way it gets the spices all around. I'm going to cover it and lower the heat and cook it for 20 minutes. So as you see, our jackfruit curry is done, and the potatoes had softened quite a lot, and the jackfruit is soft too, and this is very yummy and tastes like very much like chicken or meat. So if you are a vegetarian, you can use jackfruit as your chicken. Today we're going to learn how to make the Nutrilla curry. So this is Nutrilla, and these are actually soybean chunks. Now a lot of people do have allergy with soybeans, so if you do have allergy with soybeans, so you cannot eat this, but if you don't, then that's great. So these comes in a package like this, and you can get it from your Oriental shop or Indian store. And these soybean chunks, what you have to do, you have to boil a big huge pot of water and bring it to a total boil, and then turn it off and drop as much soybean chunks as you like to eat. I use the whole box, and then I keep it for a few days. So you drop it in there and just close the lid and let it sit for 30 minutes to an hour. 1 hour later, when the water is cold, and squeeze them all out. So when I squeeze them all out, they look like this. So these are little soybean chunks. So we're going to cook this one today. So we're going to cook the soybean chunks today and with potatoes. So I have like 5 large potatoes and I cut them, peel them and cut them. You can boil it and cook it, or you can just peel the potatoes and cut it and then cook it, and you just give enough time for the potatoes to get soft and boil. So first I'm going to start with the high heat. I already have 1 teaspoon of olive oil. To that I have half a teaspoon of cumin seed already roasted, and to this I'm going to drop my potatoes and I'll roast the potatoes for a little while, about 5 minutes. Now you can make a little smaller size. I just made bigger size and I'll let it just get softened and then I can cut it that time. So I'm going to cook it for 5 minutes. Just roast it, make sure it's kind of roasted all the sides, and then I will add the soybean chunks to it. So as you see, my potatoes are a little bit roasted. At this time I'm going to add all the soybean chunks to it. So the amount I have, this could serve about 10 people. So I have 5 large potatoes and I have a whole package of soybean chunks. So you can make it this soybean curry for like 2-3 days if you have 2-3 people in home, or if you're making it for a party, it will serve about 10 people. So I'm going to just cook these together about 1 or 2 minutes, but we don't want to burn the soybean, so we just cook it a little bit. And now to this I have, this is ginger, garlic, onion and a little bit tomato paste, about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to add that. As I mentioned to you, I always keep this handy to add it to any curry that I feel like adding. Now this one you can do without adding or with adding, so I added a little bit just for the flavor. And now I'm going to give about 1 teaspoon salt. So this is quite a lot. And half a teaspoon turmeric. I'm going to give some curry masala, about 1 teaspoon. You can add less and later you can taste it and add a little bit more. And I'm going to add some coriander powder and a little bit of cumin powder. And I'm going to add some cilantro. I will just add the cilantro leaves, half of it now and half of it at the end. Now to this one, I have to bring the heat down and add about a glass of water. Enough water to soak it because we want all these potatoes to be cooked. So this is, when you make this Nutrilla curry, if you make a little bit gravy, it really tastes good. You can eat it with your bread or rice, brown rice, or you can eat it with roti or puri or anything. So I'm going to add to this one about 1 big glass of water. So add a glass of water and see how much it. So I think we can go with 2 glasses. This is a lot. We'll add about 2 glasses of water. So I added 2 glasses of water. I'm going to cover it and let it cook for 30 minutes until all my potatoes are soft. And as you remember that we soaked the Nutrilla 30 minutes in boiling water, so this is already softened. All I need to do is make sure my potatoes are cooked and soft. and at the very end I will be adding a little bit of garam masala and rest of my cilantro leaves. So at this point I'm just going to put the lid on and cook it on slow heat for 30 minutes until the potatoes are cooked. So as you see, my Nutrilla curry is done, and it's very tasty and it's very simple to make. So you can make this and enjoy with your family, and it's very nutritious too. It's full of protein.